I am the Craft Dad. Today's video will cover the progress I've made towards my glowing gems. What is a glowing gem, you ask? Well, a glowing gem, like many anime and games that are played, are these magnificent crystals and gem-like structures that give off this radiant glow. The glowing gem seen here is from Final Fantasy. This is the Fal'Cie gem. Seen here in my hand is a flashlight with multiple LEDs. When people create glowing gems, they tend to make flashlight gems as opposed to a glowing iridescent gem. Typically, flashlight gems are not viewable from the side. However, cameras are able to pick up the light. What I plan on making is an LED diffuser. This helps to spread out the light and make it easily viewable, while also reducing the bright points generated from LEDs.
Okay, how you doing? I'm back, and what I've been messing with is resin. Now, we make the air chamber, the partial vacuum chamber, to extract the air bubbles out of the resin. Some people say it's not needed. Other vacuum saucers, anything, or just stomping on the table, tapping on the tray to get the air bubbles out. I use the vacuum chamber so far. I like the results. I don't see any air bubbles on my surface, and I really don't see any of the little air bubbles, maybe the very, very corners of the mold, which is really not noticeable. And for me, that will be covered up by Worbla or EVA foam or hot glue or some other thing that is encasing the gem and keeping it where I want it. So I've been messing around with trying to do different things. These were clear resin molds that I did, trying paint to see how the paint would look, whether or not I like that effect. I'll take pictures of that and show that as well. This one I didn't get any paint on the surface, but what's kind of cool is when you paint the back, because of the shape of the eye, you get this cool, concave effect where if you're looking at the object from the side, you can still see, even at the far angle, you have to literally be almost at a complete angle of it where you don't see the image. So the reason why I've been testing that is because I want to take my resin pendant or gem, actually turn this into a gem. I haven't figured out how I want to do that. If I want to actually get molded, or if I want to just straight sand it down and get the shape I want. But I think for what I'm making right now, I actually need just regular round pendants. Now you can paint the back and everything, and then have a light shooting through it. I don't like that effect. And if you don't, then you just have a light shooting through it. As you see, you're going to end up with basically kind of like a flashlight. So this doesn't diffuse the LED at all. So I have been working to figure out a way to diffuse the LED. And this is just from LEDZ.com. It's a nice little tester. Has built-in resistors and stuff so that you can actually just plug in any LED. It's got different scale here for how many milliamps you're going to go through, so you can get a weaker light if you want a lot of resistance. And what that would do is make your battery last longer, because now it's not pulling so much energy, or you can go to really bright. Now what I'm using here is what's called a micro LED. These are very, very small LEDs compared to the regular size LEDs, and I'll show a picture of that close up. So I've been sitting here, see this one's green and this one is blue. So I've been sitting here trying to figure out how can I diffuse the LED. So I tried using acrylic paint, because I've seen online some people talk about that acrylic paint is perfect for making an opaque fake gem. Now, when I did it, and maybe it's because of the resin I'm using, it did not fully dissolve into the resin. Instead, I ended up with these little tiny particles that you can't really see until you have the light going through. And I'll take pictures with my cell phone camera because it actually has better lens for close-up pictures than my video camera. But as you can see, you know, it does diffuse the light, but it doesn't evenly spread it, and I still end up with a lot of light, not on the sides, you know, focus on the middle now. I don't want that. I don't want that big bright circle. Okay, so I'm trying to avoid. I want a gem that glows, where the whole gem looks like it's glowing. So, you know, of course, instead of making a small batch, I made a big batch, so I've got several of those, but that's okay. I can do other things with them for testing. So then I thought maybe, well, what if I put a foil backing on the back of it, and then try to shoot the light in from the side. And so doing the foam backing, or not foam, foil backing, and shooting it in, I kind of get more what I'm looking for. When it glows, I can see the glow at different angles, you know, but it doesn't light up in the middle. So I'm not getting that, not getting the edge glow and not a middle glow. Okay, so well, that's something to keep in mind for later. And with the foil, I put the foil on and I kind of put a little around the edge, just to kind of give it a lip for reflectivity. But without the LED on, you know, the foil, you know, some people say it looks like crap because it's wrinkled and it's foil. So then I tried what some people call doming. So you've got your mold that's clear and it just looks like it's green. And instead, what it really is, it's a clear mold. The green is only poured onto the back. So I put one of my resin gems back into the container to hold it, and then I mixed more resin, or actually when I mixed the green resin here, I poured some on the back of the light here. So now, if I shoot it straight through, I still get the same issue, you know, but if I shot it from the side, it glows a little more, but not as much as I would like. I have to get more resin on there. Or I have to get a thicker level of resin to really get this light glowing, because it's not. Most of it's shooting past the backing coat, the back coat that I did. So then I started thinking, well, I was doing some tests with hot glue sticks. And as you can see, hot glue sticks diffuses the light nicely. So, you know, needing the blue, that fuses nicely. So, yeah, that's the kind of glue that I want. This bottom and this bottom. So then I started thinking, well, what if I put hot glue on the back of the resin gem? So I laid down one of the bigger LEDs, and I just basically started putting hot glue on. Now, so when you look at it, you get some nice light that's shining through, and the light is visible at every angle. The light does not get too much of a bright spot. It's a little bit bright where it's at, but that's partly because I'm using a bigger LED and a smaller one that I would have further off to the side. And so, you know, the only issue is the air bubbles captured by the hot glue. I don't want the air bubbles in there. It doesn't give me a perfect I'd have to figure out how to get those air bubbles out. So then I went and, some people said food coloring. Don't use the regular food coloring that has the water in it. Won't mix your resin won't mix well. And other people were saying gel food coloring works perfect. So again, I tried it, and with mine, it's really hard to tell, but I got two different tints of blue. Now, without any light going through them, one kind of looks a little opaque. I probably could have added more. And the other one has this like spotting effect inside of it, like little tiny suspended crystals. That one is the gel food coloring. The other one is the liquid food coloring. So what I'm going to do now, because I want to see if I can get, what I'm going to try to do now, because I want to get a LED in between them, I'm going to take my LED, or I'm going to take two of the resin molds, and I'm going to sandwich hot glue in between them. See if I can get a double-sided gem that glows that I can use for a weapon. Maybe it's not too big. So what I've done is I've taken foil, and I basically use the foil to hold gems in place at different spots at the width that I kind of want. Is it perfect? No, this is all for experimentation. So I'm going to pour the hot glue down into this opening that I left, and then at the end I'm going to stick the LED light slightly into it. Now, when you look at the LED light, the whole LED doesn't light up. The light actually gets emitted from the top portion of the LED, and I'll do a close-up picture to show where the light emits from. Okay, so half of the LED, the protective coating that's already on there, does not emit the light. So when I stick this in, I really just want to stick it in up until I reach that little plate that's in there. Okay, so I've had my hot glue gun here warming up. I might need an additional glue stick, so I'm sure I have that handy. This is a high temp hot glue. I'm using glue that's more opaque, even though with some of the more clear glue sticks that you can get a nice, the LED will shine up the tube a lot nicer, but the problem is it doesn't diffuse enough, and so you're looking for diffusion, a right amount of diffusion. Alright, so now let that sit. It's holding the LED pretty good. Got some molds I can't get out because it's too thin. One of the things we're doing in the resin, a lot of people will tell you that for every ounce of resin you're using, you need to use 10 to 15 drops. That is incorrect. What you are supposed to do is the thickness of the mold that you are pouring into. That is how many drops you need to put into your that's how many drops of catalyst you need to put into your resin. And if you don't believe me, I put in only 4 drops into 1 ounce of resin that I was filling into 1 ounce or 1 inch holes. So I'm going to move inside. I'm taking my bag ruler down here. Well, not 1 inch, it's a half inch. Half-inch depth. I'm filling into, and according to the can, if you were filling half-inch molds, you need 6 drops. So I did 6 drops. If your molds are 1/8, meaning they're like you're barely filling it, then you do more drops because you're going to need the catalyst. that's probably going to take a while so that the hot glue fully cools down and hardens back. Because while it's heated up, it's going to be too clear. What we want it to do is to harden back up into a nice solid state where it's very opaque. Now I have other dyes coming that I'm hoping will work. I've been doing research online. And these are translucent dyes, but I can add enough of it to where the translucency is still there, but it's a very, very dark translucency. So, in essence, I can create, so the color is trapped in there. I can do the border of oil or something else reflected, and get the light to reflect more within itself before it comes shooting out. I've also bought glitter powders to try different methods of using glitter to help the light shine, and maybe using that to help cover up a lot of the bubbles that appear with the hot glue. I don't know. So far, hot glue is the only thing that I found that I can get the nice LED glow that I really want.
Seen here in the picture is the two resin half circles hot glued together. The foil that is surrounding the hot glue is being used to try and refract some of the LED light back into the gems. In this image, I have illuminated the single LED that is encapsulated on the very edge of the gem. As you can see, even though I'm at a 90-degree angle to the surface of the gem, I am able to clearly see it glowing nicely. In this side view, the LED is illuminating the gem quite nicely. And although it creates a hot point, we are not getting the flashlight effect that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. This concludes the first part of my LED glowing gem experiment.